Welcome to the Done Not Perfect podcast. I am your host, Aaron, and we are back again with another raw series here in the dungeon, the gym. I'm out the country right now in Central America, and these last handful of podcasts I've been recording in the gym because for some reason I have this whole gym to myself. I'm sweating like crazy, and I just get these breakthrough moments and these ideas that I'm like, man, my community needs to hear this. So if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. It is not by coincidence or an accident. We don't believe that you are here on this episode. If you are back again for some more, I want to say welcome back. I'm glad and grateful for your support. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, follow the podcast wherever you are listening to right now, whether that's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever. Please follow and subscribe. It helps us out more than you know. This is how we reach new people, such as yourself if you're new. And this is how we grow the message. And you guys are a big part of that. It's not just about me grabbing a microphone and talking. It's about you guys distributing it and sharing it to people that you know, love, and care about. So I want to say thank you in advance for rating it and leaving a kind review. It is much appreciated. So in this episode, as I'm sweating like crazy, finishing my last set in the dungeon, is if you are lacking motivation, if you're lacking the will, or if you're lacking the energy to conquer, to push through whatever it is that you're wanting to do, this message is for you. This episode is for you. I got a newsflash for you, man. You're not always going to feel motivated. You're not. And I want to submit to you that motivation might be the last thing that you need right now. Motivation is extrinsic. What that means is it is external. It's outside of yourself. Energy that forces you or thrusts you forward when you don't feel like doing it yourself, right? So you have extrinsic motivation, and then you have intrinsic. Intrinsic is from inside, which is what we call inspiration. Inspiration is internal drive and desire, and motivation is external. But I want to submit to you that motivation is not what you need. So I know this episode says something about motivation, but motivation is the last thing you need. And I want to submit to you, as I'm sweating through this mic, that what you need is inspiration, number one, but also number two, you need just to do it. And I was reminded of that at the end of this workout. I started doing burpees, and I hate burpees. I haven't done burpees since like college when we had to do them for basketball conditioning drills and stuff. I haven't done burpees since then. To be honest, burpees are a useless activity that is disguised as something that is complicated. It's not. It's very useless. However, it's something that whenever you bring up the word burpee, most people frown their face, as you probably did when you heard me say burpees. You probably were like, oh my God, I hate those. Guess what? You are not alone. I hate those too. But something came over me today as I'm training later than I usually have. I'm usually in here earlier in the morning, but today I'm here at around 2:45 p.m. And it's hot as usual, but something told me today as I was in the gym to do something that I normally wouldn't do. And for some reason, it was downloaded into my spirit to throw some burpees. So as I'm doing this circuit training exercises, I have like 4 or 5 exercises grouped together. And I'm going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And the very last exercise, I'm going to do burpees. I'm going to do 12 burpees, 12 to 15 burpees at the end of each circuit. Then I'm going to take a break and then repeat it again 4 to 5 times. So that's what I've been doing. And every single time I'm doing a burpee, I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to give up. And it's in that moment. And by the way, I'm not listening to any music. I'm not listening to an audiobook. I'm not listening to a podcast. It is just me in this hot ass gym that I've been calling the dungeon for the last few weeks. And my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions and everything. And every single time I go down and come back up and jump and do a burpee, I want to stop. And a part of me is looking for motivation. I'm looking for drive. I'm looking for something. And I was like, no, I don't need motivation. I just need to do it. And so a big part of me not listening to music or a podcast or anything, and I've been off social media for the last week, so I haven't really been consuming anything, is that because I haven't really been consuming music or content, it's really forced me to look within. And sometimes music can be a distraction. Sometimes social media can be a distraction. Podcasts can be a distraction. YouTube can be a distraction because we're using it as a crutch. We're using it as a crutch to get us through something, or we think we need something outside of ourselves to push us to do something that we don't want to do. And what this taught me today was I don't need another book. I don't need another banging song. I don't need another YouTube video. I don't need a motivational speech. I just need myself. You are the only motivation that you need. You're not lacking motivation. You're lacking action. You're lacking doing it. You're lacking allowing yourself to suffer. And I want to submit this to you as well. It is going to be very difficult for you, for me, for anyone that wants to reach their potential and pursue purpose and leave a legacy and to live a life of fulfillment and thriving. It's going to be very, very challenging to do that if you don't allow yourself to suffer. And suffering is a part of the journey. You have to allow yourself to go through hard stuff. You have to allow yourself to go through hard times and hard seasons and hard workouts when it's not comfortable. Sometimes you have to go out in the cold and run. You have to go in a hot ass gym and work out. You have to go in the sauna and sit there for 45 minutes. You got to do a 3-minute cold shower or a cold plunge. You got to put your face and dunk it in ice water. You got to do things that's not comfortable. You have to allow yourself to suffer, because that's only when you're going to see. That's only when I'm going to see what is really going on the inside. And when you cut off any external motivational factors and it's just you sitting in the suffering, you are finally going to see what you're truly made of. When you allow yourself to go through pain and to go through discomfort and squeeze out your potential and squeeze out the energy and squeeze out the discipline, that is when you grow. And it's not just about burpees. It's not about cold plunges. It's not about saunas, although all those things have their place. What it is about is you believing that you need to be motivated to get things done, when in reality, you have to allow yourself to suffer. You have to allow yourself to get uncomfortable, but you also have got to take action in the discomfort. You know, when Jesus was baptized, the very next chapter after he was baptized, he was led in the wilderness. God, the Holy Spirit, led Jesus in the wilderness for 40 days to be tempted by the enemy with no food and no water for 40 days. Now, this man went from the biggest moment of his life at that point, which was getting baptized, and God coming from the heavens and everyone witnessing it, to the very next thing went into a place of disruption and discomfort and suffering. Why? To show us that that is what happens. When you make a decision to change, the first thing that follows that is disruption, is pain, is agony, it's discomfort. When you're wanting to lose weight, when you're wanting to increase your finances, when you're wanting a better relationship, the next thing that's going to happen is adversity. And Jesus didn't have an iPad. He didn't have a TV. He didn't have headphones. He didn't have anything distracting him from that season of suffering. All he had was himself. And he showed us that you don't need external things to help you get through. You just have to allow yourself to go through the season of suffering and know that when you allow you and God to flow through you, you can see the other side. Now, you might be listening to this and be like, okay, Ace, but you don't get my story. You don't understand what I've been through. You're right, I don't. But I promise you this, whether you're a Christian or a believer or not, it's not the point. But I guarantee you this, you haven't been through what Christ went through to go on that cross. I promise you that. And if you haven't gone through that, I guarantee you, in the grand scheme of things in this world, your life isn't as hard or isn't as challenging or isn't as difficult as you think. It may be to you. But another thing I've realized, being in Central America, there are things that I, in the United States, look at as painful or discomforting or uncomfortable or challenging that I see these people do with ease without any complaining at all. And it puts things in perspective that your perception is everything. Your perception of what you're going through is everything. Your perception of you wanting to lose weight is everything. Your perception of wanting a better relationship is everything. Your perception, your perspective, right, of increasing your finances is everything. So in this gym, doing these burpees, doing these things, while it's happening in real time, my perspective and my perception of what I'm doing is ultimately going to dictate if I do 12 or if I'm going to do 5. Because guess what? There's no one else in this gym but me. There is no one watching me stop. There is no one watching me cut corners. There is no one watching me say I'm going to do 12 but only do 5, only do 7. There's no one watching me when I say I'm going to do 4 rounds and I only do 3. There's no one watching me but me. But guess what? I'm the one that matters. It's not the crowd. And if I'm going against my word, if I'm allowing how I feel and not having music or not feeling motivated or things not feeling right or this is not the right opportunity or this is not the right president or this is not the right this or not the right that, if I'm allowing these external factors to dictate what I believe about myself on the inside, well, I might as well just stop living life right now and just decide to be mediocre. And so should you. So if you're needing motivation, my friend, you come to the right place or maybe the wrong place, depending on what your perspective is, but you don't need motivation. You don't need another talk. You don't need another sermon. You don't need another motivational word. You need your perspective to change. You need to do the hard thing. You need to allow yourself to suffer. And trust me when I tell you this, it's hard. Giving yourself permission to self-endure suffering is hard. Going in a 3-minute cold shower or cold plunge is hard. It's challenging. Doing a 45-minute sauna and not fidgeting and not getting out and coming back in is hard. Waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning when you say you want to and that alarm goes off and you want to go back to sleep is hard. Going to bed early is hard. Doing things that are unfamiliar to you and are challenging and new is hard at the start. It's going to feel hard, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not hard. If for 3 minutes I have to sit in cold water, for the long-term benefit of that is brain function and a healthier body and a stronger mind and stronger willpower, man, then 3 minutes is all I have to give, then sign me up. If 30 minutes in the gym of pushing myself and being exhausted when I don't feel like it is going to give me longevity, it's going to give me a strong body, I'm going to look good and feel good in my clothes. I love the way that I look with no clothes on. I feel good, my energy's high, man, to sign me up for those 30 minutes. It doesn't mean those 30 minutes are going to be easy, but man, trust me, as someone that was 275 pounds a year and a half ago, and now I'm under 200 and I look and feel the best that I've had in over a decade, and I'll be 38 years old in less than 2 months. I can tell you that it's better on this side because I've been there when I prioritized how I felt or needing motivation. I've been there. And it sucks. It feels good in the moment. It feels good comfort eating. It feels good sleeping in. It feels good drinking the alcohol. It feels good doing the thing that makes you feel good in the moment. But man, those things add up. They compound over time. Just like with money, you've got compound interest. It's the same thing with your body. Right? The one thing about principles, one question that I get sometimes, people say, I get this question all the time. No, you don't. I don't get this question all the time, but I have gotten it a few times. And I'll get questions like, well, this person's an atheist or this person's a bad person. How can this person be wealthy? Why would God allow that? You see, the interesting thing about principles is principles don't care if you believe in God, if you're a sinner, If you're not, if you're Christian, if you're Jewish, if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're white, if you're black, principles do not matter. Principles are always going to work for those that work the principle. Okay? So compound interest is a financial principle. But here's a cool thing about principles. If the principle of compound interest works in finances, that means the same principle has to work in every other aspect of life. There's not a principle that only works in one area. It has to work in all areas. So what do I mean? Well, if you have compound interest in your finances, that means you have to have compound interest in your health, right? If you're saying no to the gym, or you cut corners, or you sleep in, those days add up and they compound over time, where one day you're waking up 5 minutes after the alarm. 2 weeks later, you're waking up 10 minutes, and then 15, then 30, then an hour. Then the next thing you know, you stop going to the gym altogether. That's compound interest, right? So the days where your emotions and your feelings, and the days where you feel like you need motivation to get up and do the thing that you said that you wanted to do. And that's the other thing that I had to realize as your guide, as your leader, as your coach, right? I got to be transparent. I said for years I wanted to get in shape. I wanted to look better. I wanted to lose 50 pounds. I wanted to lose 60 pounds. I wanted to be a size 32 pants. Those are the things that I wanted. No one said I had to. It's what I wanted. And because I wanted it, I had to show up. It's not that I want it only when it's convenient. When you say you want something, that means you're committed throughout the entire process, no matter if it's easy, hard, simple, or challenging. You're in it for the long haul. And so I'm saying I want to be healthier, but yet I'm going through the motions. I really didn't want it. I wanted the fruit of what I wanted, but I didn't want the commitment of what I wanted. When I changed my perspective, and instead of worshiping the fruit of the outcome that I desired, I had to worship the process. I had to worship the work. I had to worship the journey, which eventually the outcome was the body and the mind and the feeling that I desired. When the outcome is the goal, you're never going to be fulfilled. When the journey is the outcome, when the journey is the goal, the outcome will always take care of itself. So what am I saying? In closing, if you're looking for motivation, I want to submit to you that you don't need more motivation. You need to change your perspective. I want you to do me a favor. Whatever area in your life that you feel you need some motivation in, whether it's your relationship, it's your body, it's your mind, your relationship with God, your money, your career, whatever you feel you need some more motivation in, I want you to ask yourself this question. What perspective of the thing that I need motivation in do I have? What's my perspective like? What's my outlook like? What am I thinking about? What am I wanting? Do I really want this thing that I say that I want, or do I want the outcome of what I say that I want? Do I really want to lose 50 pounds? Do I really want to go to the gym and go through the journey of losing 50 pounds? Or do I just want the outcome of the 50? Do I really want to be in the process of dating my spouse and my partner and loving them the way that they need to be loved, and listening to them and doing the things that they would want to do, not just when you want them, and understanding them and listening to them? Or do you just want a healthy relationship? Do you want the journey of the healthy relationship, or do you just want the outcome? Where's your perspective? Because what I found in my life, the more that I was only thinking about the outcome, the more the journey became more rigid, more challenging, and ultimately I would stop. The more that I was content and enjoyed the journey, the more that I was married to the journey, the outcome took care of itself. You don't need any more motivation, my friend. You need to be married. Actually, I shouldn't even say this. You don't need to do anything. But if you find yourself feeling like you are needing and wanting more motivation, my advice to you is you don't need more motivation. You probably have to change your perspective of what it is that you're committed to. Are you committed to the fruit of what you want, or are you committed to the journey? When you're committed to the journey, you understand that every single day is not going to be the day that you want to do this. Every single gym session, you're not going to have it. Every single day, you're not going to want to eat the foods that you say that you were going to eat. Every other day, you're not going to want to go to date night. You're not going to want to budget. You're not going to want to save. You're not going to want to create the content or write that page or do that assignment. You're not going to want to do it, but because you're married to the journey, you know it's just a part of the deal. It's in the fine print. So motivation isn't the goal. It's a commitment to the journey is the goal. Because when you're committed, think of it like this, and I'm going to close with this. It's one thing to love someone because you love them. It's another thing to love someone while they're on a journey of loving themselves. It's one thing to love someone because you love them and you think they're fine, you think they're hot, you think they have potential, which is great. It's another thing to love them when they're on a journey of where God wants them to go. You love the outcome, you like what you see, but are you committed to where they're going? Even if where they may be headed, you don't understand. Even if you're going to be in a season where you guys are going to argue a little bit, you're not going to have as many date nights. You're not going to have as much time together because maybe where they are right now, they need more attention on their journey. Are you going to be okay with that? It's the same thing with you. It's one thing to love the outcome. It's one thing to love $1 million, to love a six-pack, to love a dream car, to love a dream house, to love a #1 podcast, to love a #1 song, to love a #1 book. It's one thing. It's another thing to love the process of having a #1 podcast and you only get 5 downloads your first episode. Because that's going to test your commitment. Loving a #1 podcast because it sounds great and it is fantastic, that doesn't challenge your commitment. What challenges your commitment is when you want a #1 podcast, but you only hit 5 downloads per episode. Because now this is going to really either expose you or it's going to reveal you. Are you truly committed to the journey, or do you just want what the journey is going to provide when you get to the outcome? I hope this episode blessed you. I hope it served you. If anyone came to mind on this raw episode of Done Not Perfect, please share it with them, text it to them. If you would do me so kind and share this on your podcast, share this on your story. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Share this on your story, share it on your feed. It really means the world to me, but it's not just about me, it's about the community. When people see that this community is growing and this is a podcast that people are getting fed, it really, really is going to expand and we're going to be able to serve more people. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the podcast, rate us 5 stars if you believe we deserve that. Leave us a kind review. That also helps out the podcast grow as well. Listen, my challenge to you is this: change your perspective and you'll change your life. I love you so much. Be safe, be blessed, and thank you for listening to this episode of Done Not Perfect.